Hello everyone, this is Eagle News. I am Rose Papa Angeles in Washington, D.C. It is Saturday, December 11, 2021, here in the nation's capital. This week's stories. President Joe Biden says democracy needs champions and announces the initiative for democratic renewal at the first virtual summit for democracy. Mayan Marzano Garzon reports about Instagram's CEO facing U.S. lawmakers over the social media app's impact on kids. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention tells us how Omicron likely will spread and which main COVID variant is circulating in the United States. EJ Gonzalez tells us about the more than 400 residents receiving COVID vaccination and booster shots at a pop-up clinic in D.C. Joshua Santillana tells us about the oral antiviral drug against COVID being manufactured in Canada. Still in Toronto, the city's chief medical officer of health undergoes surgery. That story from Ashley Sakmar. For Learning Curve, Philip Toledo reports about NASA launching its newest mission to explore the most dramatic objects in the universe. For Color My World, Susan Husk reports about Dallas College's celebration for the return of in-person art exhibits since the onset of the pandemic. Panamanians yearn for change as the nation celebrates its bicentennial year of independence. That's for this week's Window to Latin America with May Davila. For Oceania at Glance, Eco Hortaleza Quinola introduces us to a Filipino art toy creator who shares the inspiration behind his masterpieces Astro and October. We are in for some fall treats, recipes for apple butter scones, and no-bake peanut butter pie. That's for this week's Behind the Counter with Aika Ira. Our coverage begins now. On December 9, U.S. President Joe Biden opens the first ever Summit for Democracy. A forum of leaders from across the globe discusses what faces democracy in the 21st century. In line with the summit's aim, in his opening statement, President Biden says democracy, an ongoing struggle, needs champions because achieving it doesn't happen overnight. Take a look.
This gathering has been on my mind for a long time for a simple reason. In the face of sustained and alarming challenges to democracy, universal human rights, and all around the world, democracy needs champions. And I wanted to host this summit because here in the United States, we know as well as anyone that renewing our democracy and strengthening our democratic institutions requires constant effort. American democracy is an ongoing struggle to live up to our highest ideals and to heal our divisions, to recommit ourselves to the founding idea of our nation, captured in our Declaration of Independence, not unlike many of your documents. We say, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all women and men are created equal, endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, among them life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Democracy doesn't happen by accident. We have to renew it with each generation, and this is an urgent matter on all our parts, in my view.
President Biden announces a landmark set of policy and foreign assistance programs called the Presidential Initiative for Democratic Renewal. The U.S. plans to allocate $424 million toward the initiative subject to availability of appropriations. In a statement, the White House says the following 5 areas of work will be the focal points of the initiative: supporting free and independent media, fighting corruption, bolstering democratic reformers, advancing technology for democracy, and defending free and fair elections and political processes. Meanwhile, it is dangerous for children. This is an accusation social media apps are currently facing, and Instagram has not been spared from having to answer it. We have Mayan Manzano Garzon to tell us more. Mayan?
Instagram's boss, Adam Mosseri, faces U.S. lawmakers based on leaked internal research showing the photo-sharing app is toxic for children. The documents leaked to reporters, lawmakers, and regulators by Facebook whistleblower Frances Haugen include research from 2019 that found Instagram makes body image issues worse for 1 in 3 teenage girls. Another report from 2020 revealed that 32% of teenage girls said that when they felt bad about their bodies, Instagram made it worse. Facebook, however, argues that the research was mischaracterized. Facebook has bounced back from other scandals, like the one involving Cambridge Analytica, a British consulting firm that used the personal data of millions of Facebook users to target political ads, where CEO Mark Zuckerberg apologized and agreed to a $5 billion settlement with U.S. regulators. Instagram now faces a new investigation spurred by the latest crisis for enticing young users and the potential resulting harms, which have rekindled a push for U.S. regulation. On the eve of hearing, Instagram announced new protections for young users, suggesting a break if they have been spending a lot of time on the platform, and to start nudging teens toward new topics if there is one they have been dwelling on for a while, and will stop people from mentioning teens who don't follow them on the platform. Lawmakers, however, voiced skepticism over the platform's capacity to protect kids, as well as the timing of the announcement of the new safety features, questioning whether it was an effort to shift attention and a distraction ahead of the hearing. Mayan Manzano-Garzon, Aston, Pennsylvania, Eagle News.
Thanks, Mayan. On to COVID news. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention has issued a statement on the emergence of Omicron, the newest COVID-19 variant now found in several countries and as of press time in 23 states here in America. CDC says the Omicron variant likely will spread more easily than the original SARS-CoV-2 virus and is expected to be spread to others even if they are vaccinated or don't have symptoms. However, CDC says current vaccines against COVID are expected to protect against severe illness, hospitalization, and deaths due to infection with the Omicron variant, but breakthrough infection in people who are fully vaccinated are likely to occur. Effective tools to fight COVID and its variants remain to be: number 1, vaccination. Number 2 is mask wearing. 3, COVID-19 testing for current infections for antigens. Meanwhile, CDC says Delta is still the main variant circulating here in the country. In a related story, continuing its fight against the pandemic, the District of Columbia hosts pop-up vaccination and booster shot sites. At the Iglesia Ni Cristo location this weekend, more than 400 residents received either their COVID-19 vaccination or their booster shots. Community members say such a collaboration among city leaders and organizations delivers a lasting impact on the district. EJ Gonzalez reports.
The campaign to have more people get vaccinated against COVID continues. Here today in the nation's capital, the Mayor's Office on Asian and Pacific Islanders Affairs collaborates with the Church of Christ, Iglesia Ni Cristo, in hosting a COVID-19 pop-up vaccine clinic. Not for the first time, but a second time. We are still in the midst of a pandemic, and services like this is beneficial and needed for the communities, most especially during these trying times.
It has been almost 2 years since the pandemic, and now with the presence of the Omicron variant amidst us, uncertainty still remains. But the residents here in the DMV area say community outreach like this gives them a sense of relief, to know that there are services like this accessible to families, including little children.
Well, it's not over yet, and there are still variants of the COVID-19 going around still, as we know. Omicron is the newest. It's scary, so it's very important that we be covered, the adults, but that the children be covered, and I'm so glad that they're able to be. We were very happy. My son was absolutely thrilled.
Yeah, I just wanted to thank the Church of Christ. They were incredible with the kids. They provided coloring books and crayons, and I think that extra touch makes a big difference when the kids are getting vaccinated. So I want to thank them for working with the city to get the vaccine out to all communities.
According to the CDC and US President Joe Biden, the best defense against the coronavirus and its variants is to get vaccinated. For community leaders here today, the same sentiment resounds. Neighborhoods have come together to feel safe as they protect themselves and their families against the lingering pandemic. Activities for little children, a chance to meet neighbors, and time to bond with other families. Love and concern for the community is indeed an observable fact.
No matter what people are going through, it's comforting to know there are those ready to care for each other. Let's all continue to stay safe. EJ Gonzalez, Eagle News, Washington, D.C.
Thanks, EJ. In Canada, a drug made to help treat COVID-19 symptoms is on its way to patients as Merck Canada announces the start of manufacturing this oral antiviral medicine. In Toronto, Joshua Santillana has the details.
Merck Canada, also known as MSD, announced Monday that it will begin manufacturing molnupiravir, the company's investigational COVID-19 antiviral drug, in partnership with Thermo Fisher Scientific in Whitby, Ontario. Merck is currently developing the drug with Ridgeback Biotherapeutics. Molnupiravir is an oral antiviral medicine aimed to treat COVID-19. In a statement released by Merck during their initial data in October this year, the company claimed that the molnupiravir could reduce the risk of hospitalization by about 50% in COVID-19 patients with mild to moderate symptoms. However, more recent reports sent to the FDA for approval showed that the risk reduction was much lower, at about 30%. With the manufacturing of the antiviral pill set to begin, the Government of Canada and Merck entered an agreement for access to 500,000 courses of the treatment, with the possibility of adding 500,000 more in the following year after Health Canada's approval. Alongside this, the Government of Canada also signed an agreement with Pfizer for an initial 1 million courses of their oral antiviral pill for COVID-19. Pfizer has submitted their request for authorization to Health Canada earlier this month. The government continues to remind Canadians that the best way to protect themselves and others from the virus is through vaccination. Nonetheless, the oral antiviral medication will aid immensely in lowering the severity of COVID-19 and reduce the risk of hospitalization. In Toronto, Joshua Santillana, Eagle News. We live in interesting times.
Still in Toronto, the city's health chief undergoes surgery and will be on leave until she gets better. A day before the surgery, Dr. Eileen Devilla encourages residents to religiously have themselves routinely checked to aid in early detection of diseases. Ashley Sakmar reports.
Toronto's Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Eileen Devilla, has announced Tuesday that she will be going on an emergency leave of absence. In a statement, she explains that precancer cells have been found after her routine mammogram, and that these cells must be removed right away through surgery. Dr. Eileen Devilla, daughter to two Filipino doctors, has served as Toronto's Chief Medical Officer of Health since 2017. She also teaches at the University of Toronto's Dalla Lana School of Health. Dr. Devilla has been at the forefront of the City of Toronto's fight against COVID-19. Mayor John Tory, on behalf of all Toronto residents, expresses his well wishes for Dr. Devilla's speedy recovery. Toronto Board of Health Chair and City Councillor Joe Cressy calls Dr. Devilla the people's doctor and commends her for guiding the city in every step of the way throughout this ongoing pandemic. Councillor Cressy also gives a shout-out to the doctor's trademark scarves, something that Dr. Devilla always wears. Ontario's Minister of Health Christine Elliott and Toronto Fire Chief Matthew Pegg also send their well wishes for a speedy recovery for the beloved Toronto doctor. Dr. Eileen de Villa's surgery has been scheduled Wednesday, a day after her announcement. In her absence, Dr. Nakoshi Lamptey will be acting as Toronto's Chief Medical Officer of Health. Dr. de Villa emphasizes in her statement that her story is not unique and that women throughout Toronto receive news like this every day. She encourages all Torontonians to regularly get themselves medical checkups whenever they are able, as these help in early detection and treatment of serious illnesses such as breast cancer. In Toronto, Ashley Sakmar, Eagle News, we live in interesting times.
For this week's Learning Curve, Philip Toledo tells us about the newest space mission set to explore the most dramatic objects in the universe. How awesome is that? Take a look.
Have you ever wanted to have X-ray vision just like Superman? Well, maybe we don't have a way to have that ourselves just yet. But NASA is using something similar to explore what they call the universe's most dramatic objects. On Thursday morning, NASA launched its Imaging X-ray Polarimetry Explorer, or IXP, aboard a SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket from Kennedy Space Center in Florida. IXP is embarking on a 2-year mission to measure the polarization of X-rays to study some of the most mysterious objects in the universe, such as supernova remnants, black holes, and other high-energy objects. This will enable scientists to study, quote, the violent universe around us in ways we've never been able to see it. In this clip right here, you can see IXP separating from the rocket to begin its mission, and the solar arrays that power the minivan-sized spacecraft are starting to unfurl. You can also see the telescopes there at the end, made of mirrors that will collect X-rays and focus them on detectors. Now you might be wondering, how does this all work? Well, simply, according to NASA, X-rays are a high-energy form of light, made up of waves that vibrate in different directions as they travel through space, in an often chaotic manner, especially, as an example, when coming from an exploded star. When light is polarized, however, it vibrates in one direction, similar to what you might see from the reflective glare of the sun shining on a lake. IXP's detectors will measure this polarization to help scientists with their research to solve some of the mysteries of the universe we might only think are possible in science fiction. Are you curious to see what the massive black hole at the center of our galaxy looks like? Well, check out frequent updates and more information at nasa.gov/IXP, IXPE. Philip Toledo, Learning Curve, Eagle News.
Thanks, Philip. In-person art exhibits are back, and Dallas College is celebrating the return. Susan Haas reports for this week's Color My World.
Since the pandemic, in-person art exhibits are now coming back. And here at Dallas College, North Lake Campus, students are proudly displaying their creations for the public to enjoy.
This is especially sentimental because we have been, working from home over the last year due to the pandemic. So the fall semester being the first full semester that we were back in person was really great, being one-on-one with the students. So it definitely was beneficial, I think, to the students to return to campus and be able to take advantage of our facilities. In the exhibit, you'll find a variety of sculptures, ceramics, paintings, drawings, digital art, design, and many other things in between. In this exhibit, we were tasked to select 10 pieces from the over 90 pieces that were entered to go forward to our League for Innovation district competition. And for those students, they will be able to go to this next level of competition and exhibition, and that they can add to their resume. And from that, I believe 5 students from our district that will go to state level and possibly win awards in advance at that point, representing Dallas College as a whole. We always look forward to both exhibits, our local campus exhibits, as well as our League for Innovation exhibit, as they really give the art department an opportunity to share what we do in our classrooms and the amazing talent and hard work our students put into their craft every day.
We have Kathleen's new brand, and she has an 8-crochet, aka Muscle Man, and that's from a lifetime course. That's color pencil, mixed media ink. So thank you, Kathleen.
I worked on this day and night for a week, and when I say day and night, I mean day and night into the wee hours of the morning to at least 2 a.m. This is colored pencil and Sharpie, which blending the colored pencil was definitely a learning process and a lot of layering, and definitely something that defines this piece to me in terms of when I look at it and what I think of. And I hadn't really used colored pencils a lot, so for me this embodies a learning experience.
We have Merritt Maya, and he has 2 paintings on the opposite side. You can't miss them, they're orange. Their abstract on his is called K61.
My name is Merritt Maya. This is my painting for the show. I had a spinal cord tumor when I was about 12 years old, so for me, painting is physical therapy. And since my hands shake, I try to do tight line work to kind of help get some of my motor control back, and it works for me. So I like doing abstract art, specifically the lines, and I like how this is 2 paintings in one, basically. You get the black and then the orange on top, so I hope you guys enjoy it.
Hi, I'm Byron Black. I teach art at Dallas College North Lake campus. This student art exhibition is a testament to the courage of our students. It always takes courage to make art, but today in particular, the world is not the most hospitable place, and to have the courage to be creative in the face of all this adversity is, again, a testament to the caliber of our students. We couldn't be more proud of them. Art and the humanities are so important to this world. Never forget that we need the arts to feel human. We need the arts to teach us how to communicate with each other, intellectually and emotionally. So I couldn't be more proud of our students and their courage. So bravo.
Meanwhile, I hope you have a chance to explore arts and culture in your own community. I'm Susan Husk, Color My World, Eagle News.
Thanks, Susan. Now let's head over to Panama as the country celebrates its bicentennial year of independence. This year, a showcase of bands from across the Republic highlights the celebration. Residents share with Eagle News what they look forward to in the years to come. May Davila for this week's window to Latin America.
In commemoration of the 200 years of independence of Panama from Spain, the national government, through the Bicentennial Commission chaired by Carlos Aguilar Navarro, Minister of Culture, successfully carried out the exhibition of independent bands at the Romel Fernandez Gutierrez Stadium. This special event had the participation of outstanding music bands from the provinces of Colon, Cocle, and Panama, who showcased their musical skills with patriotic and popular rhythms. The audience were impressed with their lucid choreography, colorful outfits, and contagious dances. The Metropolitan Band opened the program, accompanied by a group of nurses with an emotional message. Los superhéroes existen, muchas gracias Cuerpo Médico de Panama, as tribute to our modern-day heroes for their services and sacrifice during this time of pandemic. With the melodies that evoked a great patriotic feeling, 11 independent bands participated to pay tribute to the homeland with their chords and dances, along with the music bands of the National Police and the National Border Service, the Meritorious Fire Department of the Republic of Panama, and the Big Band of the Institutional Protection Service of Panama. The Vice President of the Republic, Jose Gabriel Carrizo, along with state ministers and local authorities, participated in this bicentennial celebration. The Vice President was captivated with his patriotic holiday and was invited to be part of the National Independent Band, drawing applause from everyone. Members of the band and spectators were beaming with national pride and patriotic fervor, full of hope for their nation in the next 200 more years.
Para mí es un orgullo, tanto orgullo es un honor poder representar a mi patria desfilando en esta fecha.
Orgullosamente panameño y por celebrar el centenario, es algo que no se ve todo el tiempo y bueno, orgulloso de ser panameño. Hemos llegado a una fecha histórica y gracias a nuestro Señor pues lo estamos celebrando. Yo sé que todos los panameños, todos como yo, estamos completamente orgullosos de celebrar esto. Así que esperemos que seguir adelante todo lo que ha estado sucediendo y en el mundo entero, pero aquí estamos, gracias al Señor. Bueno, deseo que todo cambie, que todo sea para bien, que ya no haya mucha muerte y ser lo más feliz que se pueda, lo más, que seamos felices todos como panameños, unidos más bien.
This national event symbolizes the feelings of patriotism, of struggle, of freedom, of peace, and the desire to continue working for a country with the aspirations and the skill of a strong and hardworking nation that does not give up and that always moves forward. May Davila, window to Latin America, Eagle News.
Thanks, May, and happy bicentennial anniversary to Panama. Now it's time for Oceania at Glance. This week, Echo Hortaleza Quinola shares with us a story of a Filipino art toy creator in Papua New Guinea who says the inspiration behind his masterpieces Astro and Octobear are his co-art toy creators, his daily experiences, and his family.
A Filipino art toy maker is presently making a big name in the so-called designer's toy industry here in Papua New Guinea. Nelson Hocson, a graphic artist and a music enthusiast, shares with us his passion in creating art toys. These self-made toys are typically in a very limited edition, making them highly valuable collector's items. Nelson normally uses wood, vinyl metal, latex, paints, and other materials for designing his creations. He also makes use of his random sketches to come up with his original creative design.
Most of my art toys are basically comes from random thoughts. And for my Astro, it was a random sketch. It became like my outlet for my feelings, like when I get frustrated or I feel happy, convert it into an Astro and sometimes post it into social media. I decided to why not make it an art toy so everyone can have a piece of my Astro.
Inspired by his co-designers and with his daily experience and inspiration from his own family, Nelson was able to do collaborative works with other toy artists. His well-known masterpieces are Astro, an astronaut who was asked to lead a group of explorers to go to outer space, as well as his latest creation, Octobear, named after making the design in October with a bear as the picture concept.
My inspirations are mostly my toy designers and sometimes daily experiences and also my family. October just came into my mind, then it's September is going to end and I need something to post. I just play with words and then created the character out of that. Music and art has been part of my life since I was, I think, in high school when I started playing the drums. Here in Papua New Guinea, I joined the band and then we're playing like for every event.
Aside from being busy with his art designs, Nelson is also a music enthusiast and plays the drums. He's a member of a local band named Aftermath that regularly performs at Sawari Point, a Filipino-owned restaurant here in Papua New Guinea. Transforming artworks into figurines are emerging to become another interesting avenue in the artistic scene. With these collectibles gaining popularity in these times, budding artists must give this a try. Eko Hortaleza Quinola, Oceania at a Glance, Eagle News.
Thanks, Echo. To see more of Astro October and other Nelson Jackson creation, visit his Instagram page at AntSong3. Now it's time for food. Join Aika Ira as she shares with us her recipes for some mouth-watering apple butter scones and this no-bake, yes, no-bake peanut butter pie. Put on your aprons and let's get to work for this week's Behind the Counter.
Hey, I'm Aika, and welcome back to Behind the Counter, where we see easy and tasty meals be brought to life. What better way to embrace fall than with these tasty recipes? Let's take a look at our first appealing recipe, apple butter scones. Next up, you may get a little nutty with this no-bake peanut butter pie. Check back here for full recipes, and if there's a dish that you'd like to see, let us know in the comments below. Catch us on eaglenewslive.com, on our Eagle News YouTube channel, and our Facebook page. Check back next week when we go Behind the Counter.
Thank you again, Aika. Those cones are just wow. And thank you all for watching. Follow us on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter at Eagle News Live. I am Rose Papa Angeles. Enjoy your weekend, everyone.